These three interior designers have been given a photograph of an empty, luxury bathroom. They have free reign to design it in any way they please.
My name's Laura. When I design a bathroom space, I want to make sure that it feels calm, restful, beautiful, and inviting.
My name is Lula. What defines my style would be an element of surprise.
My name is Alvin, and when it comes to my design style, it's one word: luxurious.
No clients, no restrictions, just blank space.
So when I'm looking at this space, I'm seeing beautiful windows, which I adore. The shower feels like an odd placement to me, and the bath sort of feels like it's, wedged against the shower a little bit.
So looking at the space currently, it's very white. It's a white box, and it's not exciting at all.
This bathroom has a lot of problems. The first thing, I think the main thing, is the layout. This is a luxury bathroom for the size that it is. And then just having like one single sink, it's a big problem. And then what it looks like, some sort of like changing table here.
Looking at the space, I want to add color, warmth, and texture. For the floors and for the walls, I would do this beautiful marble that has a lot of movement in it. It has creams, grays, a little bit of gold, a little bit of tan, and I think that will really set the tone for the space.
In a bathroom, obviously, everything needs to be very functional. I think in this space that we should do a tile floor that feels very sort of organic. And so this is a travertine, and if we did this as a square, it would feel really unique and different. We'll leave the holes and things like that and all these edges feeling very unfinished. That feels very natural, like a real stone.
On the walls, I was like, okay, let's just go all out with this bathroom and let's pick like a crazy marble. I love this one. It's called Ondulato Rosso, which is very graphic. There are like veins all over. The same marble that is wrapping around on the walls, it's also on the floor. There is an indentation that you can see on the floor, sort of like radial, that go all the way to the center.
And for the walls, I use my favorite finish right now, which is Teladec finish, which is Moroccan plaster on the walls. It really just warms up the space and makes the bathroom feel almost spa-like and cozy.
I'd love to make this space feel more cohesive, and I think that when you do something with the ceiling plane and don't just leave it flat, I think that you can make it feel much more intentional and designed. So I'd love to do a 5-inch wide planked ceiling. This is real wood, and I think that if you put something like wood on the ceiling, it just sort of softens it, makes it feel more inviting and more welcoming overall.
For materials, I wanted to bring in water in this bathroom, to have it all be about like the different stages of water. The ceiling, it's this fluted textural cast. And then the shape of the ceiling, it's curved. And then you see this like trim detail around it. So all the water that is gonna accumulate in the bathroom, it's gonna drip to the sides of the wall. And then through that channel that you see on the wall, it's gonna come down to the floor where there's also another channel like wrapping it around. When I first saw the original rendering, you see this massive window and I'm like, why not just bring it all the way down and make that space accessible? And also you create this deck. So when you're out in the morning or when you just finish your shower, you can just walk outside.
I think the windows are amazing in this space. I actually set this to be in a higher up building on a higher floor looking over the city. So I would actually keep the windows. I would not even cover them because I feel like you're high enough up in the air, nobody's gonna see you.
So I think what we should do is pull that shower out of the corner so that those windows really are just the focus when you're walking in. You can see straight outside, you can see the beautiful views. If we just did a Roman shade across the top of those windows, we could do something in this beautiful, soft, relaxed linen, and then that will give us privacy. It will filter the light, but it's not going to block any views.
For me, the problem with this bathroom is that the tub, it's enclosed between two elements. The shower here, and then the bathtub here, and then a sauna situation here. So I'm splitting the room in equals fours, and then creating this opening in the center that will bring in natural rainwater as you're soaking in your circular tub with a few steps to like come down. But then the focus of this room becomes the circular tub. So the idea comes from the Roman baths, where you will have natural rainwater coming from the ceiling and then bringing all the drops to the sides, collecting that water, then bringing it like down to the floor.
So for the bath, I would go with a more square design to make it just larger and like a true soaking tub with brass finishes. I think the rectangle design lends itself more to modern design, and it's a true soaking tub. So if you're 6 feet or taller, you can soak with no problem.
I think that this space really needs a beautiful bathtub. When you're first walking in, there's all these views as you're seeing outside, and I think that we can also have another focal point in this space, and that is the bathtub. So the bathtub can be something really sculptural. I think a fired clay tub will give a really beautiful look to the space.
In the original design, the sinks were separate, so I would bring the sinks together to create one large vanity, and it will be out of the marble as well, just keeping the continuity and the flow of the space. I think making it one piece is more functional, so you don't have to go to opposite sides of the bathroom just to wash your hands. Everything is centrally located in one place.
So when we pull that shower out of the corner, we can move it back into this corner over here. So if we create like a frame around the shower, almost inspired a little bit by like a British telephone booth, and you can see in and out, and it just makes it feel very nice and light and airy, but it definitely has its own distinct space, and it doesn't just get lost in the room.
The best light you can get is natural light. What I did was created on that left wall is like huge sink counter with double sinks and double mirrors with natural light coming in from that side of the room as well. So like each person can get their own light.
Currently, there's a very small sink in this bathroom, and obviously it's not very functional. So once we take that out, we'll have the opportunity to put something much larger. I love to do double sinks in large bathrooms like this. So across that big long wall, we can just do one big sink, and we can do a double sink. And then across the top of the sink, a custom mirror. And I think if we did something inspired by antique mirrors, an old vintage French mirror, I think that will immediately bring in some more visual interest into the space. In front of the vanity, I think it's really important to have a runner. Again, it's just adding a little bit more character, and it's taking the edge off what would be a very new space. Next to the bathtub, I think it's really great to have a little seat. You could have somebody sitting there with you, but you could also throw your towel on there or any sort of accessories that you need for the bathtub. This one that I'm looking at is from Estudio Persona, which is an American brand, and they're based in LA.
For the very few objects that I decided to include in this bathroom, because I think the space is already enough, I chose 2 different benches. So there is one bench against the window, very textural and very heavy, like a darker walnut with a stain, or that I was thinking like it would be super cool to have something like in charred wood. And then on top, yes, you can do like a shearling pillow, or I don't know, something in boucle, you know, just having like a little bit of softness to that rough charred bench. And then on the opposite one is just like this very simple wooden stool, just to have a stool in the bathroom.
So I left the space open, and that's an opportunity for anyone to come in and add a chaise lounge, a seating area, a bench, or an ottoman, additional seating, whatever you prefer. There's so many possibilities that you can add within this space.
So behind the bathtub, I think it's going to be really important to have access to bath salts, soaps, and that sort of thing. And so I would love to put a tall bookshelf behind the bath. This one that I'm looking at is from Cinca Design. They are based in America. Everything's handmade, and they're very sustainable, which I love.
For me, the main light fixture, it's the circular opening on the ceiling, because you will get natural light. So you get like the skylight or the stars if you're there at night.
For the lighting over the bathtub, I would do these light fixtures that are from Apparatus Studio. I think they are so cool, so modern, and it picks up on the cream and the brass tones that we already set throughout the space. And for this light fixture, I would put it on the dimmer. So if you want to set the mood while you're taking a bath.
The pendant that I'm choosing for over the bathtub is this postmodern fixture that feels very unique and interesting. It's very sculptural. All that light coming from behind through the windows will really just emphasize that beautiful shape.
What I'm deciding to do is to include this shell sconces, French from the 50s, and then space them out throughout the room, make that transition of the 2 materials even more exaggerated.
Instead of doing sconces on either side, I'd love to do some hanging pendants. And if we hang down pendants on both sides, it sort of creates this lovely vignette, and you can have a lot of natural light coming in through the windows. And if you need extra light, you'll have it at face level, which is really where you want the light to be.
Over the vanity for the lights, these are from Apparatus Studio as well. And I would do drop pendants on either side of the sink just to give that glow from the lights. And then it'll also reflect in the mirror as well.
I always love adding a lot of plants to the space, especially in a bathroom where it's meant to be a retreat. Plants really contribute to that. They lower your blood pressure. Just looking at a plant can make you feel calmer in general.
This beautiful wooden sculpture by Noel has a dialogue with the rest of the elements in the bathroom. And it's still something that could pass as just an object. And it's not like a piece that you're like, wow, you know, because I think the tub is already that for this space. I'm very glad that I bombed this bathroom in a way, because the space was good, the natural light was good, but just the layout was not making anyone any favors. And I would just love to be in this bathroom, to just have like this tub on a pedestal. You walk in, you soak, and then you have like this long vanity. And then you walk outside.
I think that the space came together absolutely beautifully. I would want to be in this bathroom all the time. It's very calm. It's a retreat, which is ultimately what I think we all want bathrooms to be.
I absolutely love this space. I love the movement and the marble. Like, marble is one of my favorite materials to use, and I think the bathroom is the perfect place to add marble, and it makes any space feel luxurious. So when I see this space, I immediately see luxury. Wow.
Wow.
Again, kind of cousins.
Fantastic.
Wow. On
You
the
got the
floor.
rain shower right in the middle.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Sick.
I just kind of want to like
So
take
good.
it in, like each one. I'm like, I love that, love that.
I love this marble.
Marble.
I mean,
fan.
we did some kind of
marble.
Yeah.
similar.
They're friends.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
marble
cousins.
happening. And what's happening on your ceiling and your walls?
So the ceiling and the walls is Teledac. It's a Moroccan plaster.
Ah.
I curved the corner where the ceiling meets the wall, basically.
And I love that you have a similar curve like in your bathtub as well. Yeah.
And I see a lot of apparatus.
Yes. I love apparatus.
Yeah,
And
they're
what's
kind
going
of
on with your ceiling
cousins. So my ceiling, it has a technical explanation. It's sort of channeled, so then all the water that is condensed here, then it goes to all the drops, and then they get collected by this gutter type
Yeah.
of thing, and then they go all the way to the floor. So it's just like a way of
It's like
collecting
capturing
the
rainfall.
Here. Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Kind of sustainability, huh?
Kind of sustainable. And does it get reused in some way? Like what happens once it gets down there?
Well, it could be reused. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
It could be like
Say it,
plumbing
yeah.
water. Yeah, why
Yeah.
not? I love the floor in yours.
Thank
It's super
you.
nice. It's like
you.
terracotta type.
Yes, I like the sort of natural variation in them. And this is like a fired clay tub, so it kind of relates to the floor a little.
What's here?
Yeah, so this is actually the shower. So I pulled the shower out of the corner so that the bathtub could kind of like just steal the show. And then the shower kind of feels like its own separate little enclosure here. So there's a little bit of a sense of privacy, but obviously you can still see all the views. I imagined it almost like as a garden, you know, it's like a greenhouse.
Like a
or
winter
something
garden.
like this. Yes.
No, I'm just like amazed at how different they all are.
And it's all the same space.
Yeah.
Right.
Same space, different places.
Yes, yes. You're in the city.
You're in
I'm
the
somewhere in the
city.
beach. You're in the
I'm like
forest.
Hawaii or somewhere, like
Yeah.
with mountains and
It's a spa at home.
Yeah. Yeah. There you have like a spa vibe.
Yeah.
yeah, spa.
All of them.
Definitely.